Hey Tahira, welcome to the Kidsstoppress podcast. Really excited to chat with you because I read the 12 Commandments of being a woman, and like I was chatting with you earlier, you've literally bared your soul. So, what gave you the idea to write?
I don't think I was in my right senses when I took to writing this book. Clearly, I was not in my senses. Yeah, like I said, as much as I'm glad people are liking it, but I've given a lot of palpitations to my family members. I'm living under the same roof with the people that I've mentioned in the book. But yeah, it was good, and that's the person that I am. I'm quite unfiltered that way. So I think that's what has been the voice of my book as well. It's just an extension to how I am.
Right. And it's ironical that I met you just before the lockdown. I think that was possibly our last event, I think that anybody would have done on a large scale when we met at the aerial event. And uske baad, straight meeting you with a new cred that's added to your profile, which is that of being an author.
Uh,
What's next? What you working on next?
so yeah, I think I am a storyteller by heart. So and I extend that storytelling thing across mediums. So whether that's in the form of a book or in the form of a movie or podcast, and it's a beautiful world that we are living in, and mass media is reaching new heights. And I have a terrible cold, as you can see.
Tahira, tell me, I always believe that you're a product of your childhood. Did you always know that you are going to be a storyteller, author, filmmaker? When you mention in the book about this girl with low confidence and being this really shy sort of girl and thinking and you've literally said like not having the biggest chest size was like a big issue.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that that shy girl would turn out to be this fearless person that she is today?
It's very beautifully how you just asked him the question that your childhood is basically it's reflection of your those qualities that you exhibit while you're in your childhood, and somehow those qualities or the areas that you're attracted to, they get diluted by your vision of working in the secular world and your conspiracy theories that I'm not cut out for this, even though your heart is in there. So just to take that further, my mom just showed me my report card, my nursery report card, and in that report card, my nursery, I was 4. Yeah, I was 4, and that's where my teacher had written as a remark that Tyra is okay in studies, she's good in studies, but she's the grandmother of the class. And why she said the grandmother was because I used to tell stories. And so when there was no one in the class, I used to take over and I used to start telling stories to the kids and to my friends, and became a storyteller since then. And my teacher could see that. So I don't know if I could ever see that, but clearly my teacher saw that, though she termed me as a grandmother. but uh, but I have really truly taken a lot of solace and a lot of happiness, and it's very cathartic when I write. And I don't have a sibling.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, my way of expressing whatever I was going through was in my diary. So I had those funny secret diaries, those that had a lock, but the chubby also was with mama. So I feel very sabotaged. So that she always had she knew what was there in my diary, but I used to maintain that. I used to write, and it's something that has been a very intrinsic part of my life, in terms of it is a source of happiness and joy. But as I grew up, my, of course, interests got diversified into theater and all of that, which is also an extension of storytelling. But my intelligence, which is silly at times, it told me that you can't make a career out of this. So which is why I went the science route. I went into corporate sector. I did all of that, but by the end of it, now I'm back to my roots, and this is what gives me happiness.
Right. When you talk of the silliness, it reminds me of the time when you mentioned that your parents had gone for their annual overnight holiday and you sneaked in the boys into the Did you
Yeah, man.
ever think that, going into that, going into getting that blue film DVD and doing all those silly things, with, of course, your friends and now husband, do you ever think you guys would be where you are today? Did you have the slightest doubt that you'll make it so big?
Mm, no, yeah. Honestly speaking, I don't know about big or not, but nobody knows about, um, especially me. I can only speak about myself. There are a lot of people who know what they want and they have a very clear cut career thing. If within 5 years, 2 years short term goals, 5 years long term goals. This in this age, kids. This in this age, shadi. This and this. Everything is so meticulous. For me, I have been such a all over the place फैला हुआ omelette and because I absolutely had no clue.
What was your tipping point that you said, I'm a storyteller? This is who I am. What was your tipping point?
So honestly speaking, there is no alpha and beta in our relationship. I don't know how does it work for other people, but there are certainly some areas that I have taken over, and there's certain some areas that he has taken over. It's a beautiful environment at home where we let each other grow. In fact, if at all, we have given each other a lot of space. So that is there. When did I figure out my true calling was it's very inspiring to have someone in your environment who's so charged and motivated. It's very so there are two ways to look at it. Either you get beaten down by it and think that this is this alpha guy who's really achieving what he wants to do, or you take a note from that inspiration and see, wow, that person is so passionate about what he wants to do. I can find my own passion too.
When you were battling with cancer, did you ever question why me?
No, so
That
with
question
God's grace,
comes
till now, not even once till date. What's the date today? Till
to this
28th of
day.
November 2020, I have it. And
Why? How are you so strong, Tyra? How could you not question? Because when we're dealing with adversity, the first thing you say to yourself is, why me? Why did you do this to me? Like, we just blame the sun, moon, stars, God, everybody, and say, why me?
so yeah, with me, honestly speaking, I have a beautiful philosophy that really pulled me up from the depths of despair that I was in, which I mentioned about in the book as well. That everybody have their own fights, they have their own battles, and just because there is a health battle doesn't mean that's more serious, or that's more consequential more than a heartbreak. I mean, so it could have equal repercussions, and whoever is going through whatever challenge, that challenge is really huge for that person. So, for me, fighting my mental unhappiness and sadness, that was a bigger challenge. And so I could do that with the help of a beautiful philosophy. I chant, I follow nature's Buddhism. And I was going very strong in my faith is when cancer happened. So when it happened, my perspective towards life had changed at the fundamental level because of this practice. And so I saw it. This practice also tells you that when problems come, they are sort of windows for you to make a change in your life. These are the times that you can change the causes that you've made in the past. Do not succumb to the challenging situation which is there, and thereby change your karma, and thereby change the causes that you're making, and thereby look at it as an opportunity to change something about your own self, because nobody changes in the most congenial environment. So if the going is good, you are as is. The only time, an opportunity that you get to become a better version of yourself is in a challenging situation. And so for me, that was the health challenge that I had. And with that perspective, I took it up. I have no one else to blame. Why should I blame anyone? There's no one to blame. If I haven't given credit for all the good things happening in my life to anyone, why should I give the blame to anyone? Blame anyone for it. So yeah, it's all.
Incredible. You're so sorted. You are just so sorted. Tell me, when you mentioned earlier on in the interview that you've been a single child. Was being a single child one of the reasons why you have two kids?
Yes, also no also, but genuinely we had two unplanned babies. Trust the Punjabi hormones that we have, excited ones. I'm saying, who does it twice? दो किसके unplanned होते हैं यार? पहला unplanned होता है, दूसरा तो you become more careful. But this is where that's who we are as people. And so, but the thing is, each time we had an unplanned pregnancy, I went ahead with it, took the decision to go for it. And maybe subconsciously, maybe that's might have played in my head. Honestly speaking, there are whatever decisions we make, I'm saying there's a lot of role that our background, our intentions have, and our subconscious mind. So I'm sure maybe that was a working, yes, maybe because I was a single kid, perhaps that might have worked. But genuinely, both of them are not planned. So
Right.
yeah.
Have people murdered you for spilling so many beans in the book?
Yeah, yeah, like I'm telling you, my father too, he refuses to go beyond the second chapter. He's like, I'm not reading it. I don't care about what all you did. I don't want to know and I don't want to discuss. So he's super embarrassed. My mother had a good laugh, but she was also shocked and she was like, oh God, this is what you all did. And listen,
I'm
like,
sure.
yeah. And so now when I enter the living area, everybody zips up because they figured it out that that becomes material for me. So so
You're
they're
like you're like crying eyes like तायरा के सामने mistake मत करना पता नहीं कब book में डाल देगी
yeah.
which is incredible that you say that. Did you that most writers go through this? Did you ever think यार मैं ये लिख तो दूंगी पर पढ़ेगा कौन? Is there an audience for this? Did you
Yeah,
feel that? Did you feel that?
yeah, for sure. I mean to say, it's again, these are the fears. So, whenever you're in a low life state, whenever you feel, you will see that all these fears that you have fought in the past, all of them will come gushing to the surface. They'll all come to the surface, whether you have fought anxiety or whether you have fought depression, you've fought insecurity, you've fought envy. All of us have these emotions. Yeah, but who are we fooling? Nobody is perfect out here. We all have these emotions, but the thing is, we manage to overcome them on most of the good days. And what are good days? It's nothing but your own life state. And so, if your life state is low, it's dipping, then all these fears do come back. And so, yes, I did think about it a few times. But then I also thought that I am not going to really now. Again, it's like being aware and work in progress towards yourself, working towards your own happiness. I took up to writing this book because I like writing and I love writing. And I have spoken with my publisher. She loves my work. This is the place that we are headed at. I'm going to enjoy every piece that I write. I'm going to enjoy every chapter that I write. I want it to be a source of biggest happiness for me. And that's how then it just the feelings. I think I hope you too feel that when you as a reader read it, you feel the same joy or the same, because it really has come from a very honest heart and an honest place. And so when you try to figure out whether people will read or people will write, will appreciate this, then you become a little pretentious because you're trying to please a certain section of society. But my idea was to have fun, genuinely have fun while writing. These incidents in my life were a source of it was very intense at the point of time that I experienced it, but in retrospect, it was quite funny for me. And so I wanted to share that with the world. And yes, these fears, this is not the last time these fears are going to come to me. I have come to me. I know for the rest of my life, these fairs are going to keep coming for every project, for each one of us, Mansi. I mean to say, when you take an interview, when do you do something, I'm sure this thing plays in your head also. Will people like it? Did I ask the right things? Did I look good? These fairs always come for each one of us. But by the end of it, I think we need to put them aside and really have fun in our present. Baki dekhi jayegi.
Tell me, with the abundance of having so much Tahira, how do you keep your bachas grounded? How do you make sure that your upbringing and what they have today is kind of the same? And what part of your childhood values you're like this they must have?
There's something that my father has ingrained it in me. Ingrained it in the sense, every time he used to drop me to my kindergarten school. I was brought up in Chandigarh. So my dad used to drop me, and every time I used to, so I didn't need a moral science uh, class anywhere in school because my dad used to do that every morning. So he ingrained it in me. And one of the few things that he did was he told me time and again that, If wealth is lost, nothing is lost. I'm sure you must have heard of it too. And so, if health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, then everything is lost. And that just became a part of me and my being. And that's something I try to make my kids understand. It's very important to have a strong character, a grounded character, because that's the closest thing that you have for the rest of your life. There are going to be ups, there are going to be lows. But if you have a sturdy foundation, you don't get easily swayed. So I think I give complete credit if at all my kids are grounded and good kids. So I give complete credit to the kind of parenting that my parents did, the kind of upbringing that I had. I do have complete middle class values. I think 40 times before buying something for myself. I have a heart to buy things for others, but for myself, I think 20, 30, 40 times. And so I calculate, okay, this is what I made in the month. Maybe I can buy this thing for myself. So I do that. I do that. And my kids see doing that. So they do. I don't know if they know the denominations, money, ke, but they do have value. And there is extreme value for human emotions also in my house. And so that is what is at utmost precedence for all of us, like where we really, really respect humanity and really respect people. So these are the some things that I have learned from my parents, and I hope to sort of extend them the same to my kids as well. So yeah.
Which is so heartwarming. I always feel, and I always tell this to all my friends, and I feel like even if I've been half as good as my parents were, I'll be sorted.
Yeah.
Incredible. How do you carve out time? How do you carve out time between your writing, storytelling, and the bachas and family? And
I think once you like what you do figure out time, yeah, for everything. I think it's about liking what you're doing. So I have a lot of gratitude each time I get an opportunity to work. I become very excited, and I'm very, very kicked about it. And so I do try to make time, and I do have time. It's हो जाता है. Just like how you are doing it, Mansi. What are you asking me? Just like how you are doing it. Exactly. So I want to ask you, how do you do it? Whatever your answer is my answer.
okay, I'm gonna save my answer for next time. Okay, this is a rapid fire with a writer, so I'm expecting a lot of.
I'm under a lot of pressure. My nose is blocked, my mind is blocked, everything is blocked. I don't know what am I going to say.
Okay, quickly, the book you're reading right now.
Becoming.
Okay, one tip to get kids starting to read.
Try to share a book with them. So yeah, like The Prince. Prince is such a nice book. You can read it and you can read it with your kids too. So yeah,
Okay. Have you learned to say no better?
it's tough, but yes.
Okay. Mom brain is a real thing. True or false?
Mom brain. पता नहीं
But
अभी तो fogged brain है मेरा. Mom brain is equal to fogged brain is equal to me. So yeah, it's
favorite
true.
app, your favorite app.
Instagram.
How much time do you spend on it?
Maybe 30 to 40 minutes in a day.
And how many minutes do you spend taking that picture?
So these are very quick ones, very quick ones. Whatever, whenever I am, I click and I just put it. Genuinely.
Okay. Social media to me is
Um, it is social media is it's a place for information, a lot of information.
okay. One subject I can't teach my kids.
Uh, Mathematics.
Did you take science?
I did. But I was medical, no?
How was your maths week?
No, I was medical, so I didn't have maths. I had physics, chemistry, biology. I was very good with biology. I was very good with zoology. And yeah, whatever math was there in the physics part of it, I used to struggle. I used to struggle. I was very bad with equations and this. So I just got through just because my zoology and biology was very, very good. So
Okay. One quality I want my son to have.
respect for humanity.
Okay. One quality I want my daughter to have.
Respect for humanity.
Okay. One adjective that describes your relationship with your son.
What? know. It's a. Uh, See, my mind is completely blocked. Writer's block, hello. Give me some choices, no? It's
Think.
volatile.
Okay, your biggest fear.
uh, Losing out on someone, I guess.
Yeah. What is the new normal for your family?
This living in pandemic and this lockdown has become the new normal. So masks and sanitizer has become an accessory more than anything else. We have now masks, different sort of masks.
Yeah. What made you think of one day at a time? What prompted you with that hashtag?
Oh, did I? I have been using that a lot, no? One day at a time. Yeah, because that's how it is. I realize it's about living one day at a time. There's no point thinking about 10 days in advance and having all those sort of goals. It's about making daily determinations of being happy each day. So, one day at a time.
Right. Three books that shaped you.
I really like there's this book called 40 Rules of Love by Alif Shafak. So that I really I like Murakami books. So yeah, and I like Mitch album. So not just two, three books, these authors I usually go into excuse me, sorry. So yeah, so these are the authors that I've read most of their books. So yeah.
Okay. Did you like write something and you said, "Nahi, yaar, this too much ho jayega." That happened?
I'm a very Bestie, excuse me. Wow, this is such an amazing interview.
Thank God I'm not doing this in person
In
next
person,
time.
I was like, imagine on your face, what?
I'm so glad this one's on Zoom. Like we
Oh
all
God,
look at people sneezing with so much of suspect that I
I
was
know.
like literally
I
not. I would have had sleepless nights thinking, "Oh my God, she was sneezing all day. She was sneezing."
Please. Yeah, yeah, we become so psyched out, yeah, because
You've been incredible, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what's next from Tahira because it's just like I said, it's so amazing to see the same sort of values and the realism that you have in you across your feed, across your books, across meeting you in person or through Zoom. You're just the same warm person, so it's just amazing to meet you and chat with you each time, Tahira. Thank
thank you so much, Mansi. I hope not to sneeze the next time when we meet or e-meet.
I'm looking forward to that. And I hope to meet you in person again. I'm done with Zoom interviews.
Yes, yeah, so am I. I think we are going to head there
Zoom.
Soon. I think good days are coming. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much for
Thank you so
that.
much,
I wish you all the
Mansi.
best. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Bye.